NASA's newest space observatory allows researchers to see further into the cosmos than ever before.
They thought we had time. Time to understand. Time to explain. Time to slowly build a picture of the cosmos, piece by piece, star by star. For centuries, we believed the universe had a rhythm, a pattern, a story that unfolded in steady chapters, each one carefully documented by human minds staring through glass at the sky. But that illusion just shattered. It began quietly. Just a few faint signals, buried deep in the cold silence of space. The James Webb Space Telescope, humanity's most powerful window into the past, was doing what it was built to do. Peering across billions of light years, scanning the ancient light of galaxies born not long after time itself began. But then, something flickered. Something too big, too bright, too old. It wasn't supposed to be there. In a place where only darkness and dust were expected, the telescope found something astonishing. Entire galaxies, vast and fully formed, shining like cosmic lighthouses in a universe that was still an infant. They weren't small or simple, like the early galaxies we were taught to expect. These were giants, sprawling spiral arms, dense clustered stars, massive cores, complex beauty where only chaos should have reigned. And just like that, the story we've told ourselves about the beginning, the very birth of everything, felt wrong. It wasn't just their size, it was the stars within them. Webb's instruments picked up the spectral fingerprints of elements, carbon, oxygen, even iron, the kind of heavy materials forged deep in the bellies of dying stars. But these galaxies existed only a few 100 million years after the Big Bang. There shouldn't have been enough time. Stars like those need to live, to die, to explode in violent supernovas and scatter their elements into the void. And yet, here they were, ancient stars in a young sky. It was as if the universe had fast-forwarded through its own childhood, skipping all the messy growing pains we thought we understood. Scientists around the world stared at the data, not with excitement, but disbelief. Nobel Prize winners, professors who had written the textbooks, theories that once felt ironclad now cracked under the weight of this mystery. Could we have gotten it all wrong? Was the early universe more alive than we ever dreamed? Or were our models just never enough? There was a silence in those first few weeks, the kind of silence that hangs in the air before something changes forever. Because when you see something that defies everything you know, you don't speak, you listen. And James Webb wasn't done speaking. In the heart of some of these galaxies, it found more than light. It found power, activity, energies that shouldn't exist, not that early, bursts of radiation, signs of motion, something massive hiding in the center, and the only thing we know that behaves like that are black holes. Not just any black holes, but monsters, millions or billions of times the mass of our sun, and they were already there, lurking in galaxies barely older than the cosmos itself. It doesn't make sense. It can't. Black holes, especially ones that big, are supposed to grow slowly. They feed, they merge, they take eons to become what they are. But these were already ancient, already powerful, already rewriting everything we thought we knew about time. And so a new kind of question began to echo through labs and observatories. Not just how did this happen, but why? Because if galaxies were being born faster, if stars were aging and dying sooner, if black holes were already awake and hungry, then maybe we're not just misunderstanding the beginning. Maybe we're missing the whole point. Maybe, just maybe, this wasn't the beginning at all. It started to feel like the universe was whispering secrets we weren't meant to hear. Every new image from James Webb was like a puzzle piece that didn't quite fit, a cosmic riddle carved in starlight. And the more scientists tried to make sense of it, the more the pieces refused to align. The early universe, once thought to be a slow, simmering soup of particles just beginning to cool, now looked more like a roaring firestorm of creation, chaotic, brilliant, and ancient beyond its years. But the light didn't just show stars and black holes. It revealed something deeper, a tension, a strangeness, the kind of beauty that feels almost haunted. In places scattered across the sky, regions so far apart they might as well be in different realities. The telescope saw the same story repeating. These massive galaxies weren't just a fluke, they were everywhere. Across every deep field, in every long stare into the void, the universe told the same strange tale, that something unfolded too quickly, too perfectly, too early. The laws we trusted, the equations written into the bones of modern physics, began to blur. For the first time in a long time, we weren't looking at a mystery to be solved. We were staring into one we might not even understand. There was something else too, something hidden in the patterns. These galaxies, these clusters, they weren't randomly placed. They clumped. They grouped together in a way that suggested order, structure, connection. But there shouldn't have been enough time for that. Gravity needs time to pull things together, to sculpt the web of the cosmos. And yet, the scaffolding was already there. Cosmic filaments, tangled like nerves in the mind of the universe. And the thought emerged quietly. What if something else shaped them? Some scientists began to wonder aloud, hesitantly, nervously, about forces we haven't yet discovered, about a kind of dark energy that behaved differently in the beginning, or a form of gravity that was stronger, faster, more chaotic. The rules of reality might have been different back then, different physics, different constants, a different game entirely. One researcher likened it to opening a novel you thought you'd already read, only to find that the first chapter had been replaced. Same characters, same setting, but the tone was different, sharper, wilder, less familiar. And that's when the whispers of something even stranger began. What if this wasn't our first universe? It sounds like fiction. It sounds like madness. But as the data continued to pour in, richer, sharper, undeniable, the impossible began to seem necessary. Some of the world's boldest minds started to entertain an idea once locked away in the dusty corners of theoretical physics, that the Big Bang wasn't the beginning at all, that it was just a beat in a cosmic rhythm that stretches across cycles of death and rebirth, a heartbeat of the universe itself. If that were true, then maybe these ancient galaxies are echoes, leftovers from a time before time, structures passed down from a previous cycle, seeds from a universe that collapsed only to bloom again. It's not proof, not yet, but it's something bigger than all of us. Because when you see ancient light carrying the fingerprints of generations that shouldn't exist, when you find black holes already grown in the cradle of creation, when the entire map of cosmic history starts to twist beneath your feet, you begin to ask questions no one is ready to answer. And maybe that's the point. Maybe this moment, this sliver of time in human history, isn't just about data or charts or telescopes. Maybe it's about waking up, realizing that the universe is so much more vast, so much more mysterious than we ever dared to believe. Maybe we're not just discovering the cosmos. Maybe we're finally listening to it. There's a silence that comes after revelation, the kind of silence that doesn't feel empty, but full of wonder, full of awe, full of questions that hang in the air like stardust, refusing to settle. That's the silence scientists are living in now. Because what James Webb has revealed isn't just a few strange galaxies, or curious black holes, or impossible timelines. It's something deeper. It's the quiet unraveling of certainty, the soft crumble of everything we thought we knew about how the universe began, and what it truly is. People used to look up at the stars and feel small, but now looking back, really back, billions of years into the birthplaces of light itself, some feel something different, not small, but humbled. Because the deeper we reach into space, the more the universe stares back, ancient and unafraid. And it's not just a place out there, beyond our reach. It's ours, our origin, our story, and now, maybe our mystery. There's something haunting about seeing mature galaxies bloom in a universe that was supposed to be chaotic and young. Something almost poetic, like discovering old souls in the body of a child. And it forces us to ask, what if time doesn't work the way we thought? What if the universe has memories? Some scientists have even begun to explore ideas that once seemed too bold to speak aloud. Ideas about hidden dimensions, about laws of physics that change over time, about particles and forces that we've never seen, but may have shaped everything we now see. And buried deep beneath all of that is the simplest, most terrifying question of all. What else is out there that we don't understand? Not just galaxies, not just stars, but meanings, purposes, truths that live beyond math or models, truths that can only be felt. And maybe for the first time in a long time, science and wonder are holding hands again. Because it's no longer just about knowing. It's about feeling the universe move. It's about staring into the oldest light and realizing it's not just illumination, it's invitation. An invitation to rethink everything, to reimagine the very beginning, to open our minds not just to new facts, but to the possibility that reality is more creative than we are. What if the Big Bang was only the latest in a line of beginnings? What if this universe was built upon the ashes of another? What if, somewhere in those early galaxies, we are seeing not just a different era, but a different truth? That's what this telescope is doing. It's not just gathering data, it's changing us. For every image it sends back, it gives us a mirror, not of who we are, but who we were. A glimpse of what existed before stars had names, before galaxies had shapes, before time wore a face. And what we're seeing now, it's wild, it's heartbreaking, it's beautiful beyond words. A cosmos that refuses to be simple. A creation that refuses to be contained. A universe that seems to be whispering, "You never really knew me." And maybe that's the greatest gift of all, because in a world so obsessed with having answers, James Webb has given us questions. Better questions. Deeper questions. The kind that don't just lead to knowledge, but to wisdom. So now as we look up at those impossible galaxies, we aren't just peering into the past. We're witnessing the rebirth of curiosity itself. Somewhere beyond the veil of light and silence, the truth is waiting. And thanks to a telescope floating in the darkness, we're finally brave enough to look for it. And maybe, just maybe, that changes everything.